Welcome to Commencement 2025. I can't wait to show you everything our students have been doing the last week. They've had such a fun time despite the rain. They've had a few parties, they've learned some new things, and I think you're going to see how joyful they are. So welcome, enjoy.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Commencement guest, please take.
Beloved people, good morning. What a day. We gather this morning to bear witness to the commencement, the beginning anew, of 630 shining human beings. The tradition of this commencement celebration begins with an invocation, which means literally a calling in. We are called in to ourselves and to each other to be present, to attend to the fullness of this moment and the depth of our gratitude for it. We gather together to mark and celebrate all you have accomplished, all you have experienced, all you have become, all you are becoming. We feel especially our connection with all those who cannot gather with us in person, including the families of our students from around the world for whom travel is not possible at this time, but whose joy in you and what you have accomplished is not dimmed by distance. We welcome those of you joining us from afar. On this day of new beginnings, may we feel the invitation to make commencement a lifelong practice, always learning to begin where we are, fully present in the difficulty, admitting uncertainty, daring to be vulnerable, nurturing friendships, forging solidarities. May we sense our calling to make this world more loving, more just, more kind, and always open to the creative possibility that attends beginnings. All beginnings begin with naming where we are. We acknowledge that Vassar stands upon the homelands of the Munsee Lenape, indigenous peoples who have an enduring connection to this place, despite being forcibly displaced by European colonization. Munsee Lenape peoples continue today as the Stockbridge Munsee community in Wisconsin, the Delaware Tribe and Delaware Nation in Oklahoma, the Munsee Delaware Nation in Ontario. This acknowledgement, however, is insufficient without our reckoning with the reality that every member of the Vassar community since 1861 has benefited from these native peoples' displacement. And it is hollow without our efforts to counter the effects of structures that have long enabled and that still perpetuate injustice against Indigenous Americans. To that end, we commit to build and sustain relationships with Native communities, to expand opportunities at Vassar for Native students as well as Native employees, and to collaborate with Native nations to know better the Indigenous peoples, past and present, who care for this land.
Before we turn to the graduating class, and we will, I want to take a moment to publicly express my heartfelt thanks and admiration for Reverend Sam Spears, who you just heard. He's retiring from the college this year after 25 years of dedicated and truly loving service to this community. Please join me in showing our deep appreciation. I also want to take one more minute before turning to the class of 2025, just to recognize all the people who work at Vassar, who make a day like this joy, this celebration possible. There are hundreds and hundreds to thank. Thank you so very, very much. Okay, now to the class of 2025. You did it! Woo! It is such a delight to be here with you. After 4 years of hard work, deepening friendships, expanding horizons, more than 100 Sunday emails, and now this moment together for reflection and rejoicing. We have many esteemed speakers here today who are going to make us laugh, remind us how inspiring you are as soon-to-be graduates, and strengthen us for the future full of challenges ahead. So I'll keep my remarks brief. Institutions like colleges and universities and our relationships with them are really a mixed bag for many people. They provide essential services and they serve as major employers, making them central to our daily lives and livelihoods. Yet, they can also be deeply disappointing when they appear to be focused on self-preservation, or if they betray our deeply held values, or when they cannot adequately address injustices in the world. This year has been one which institutions of higher education particularly are on trial. Some have lost trust, and the navigation of political attack seems far from over. In this time, I have been and I am deeply proud and indebted to the students and the faculty who have animated Vassar with peaceful protest, with written and spoken dissent, with calls for engaged pluralism, and with restorative practices when we hurt each other. Let me underscore, Vassar is committed to engaged pluralism, which asks all of us to recognize and embrace the differences among us, keeping dialogue open, learning along the way, and seeking common ground. Our deeply held values of diversity, inclusion, and equity, as written in our mission statement, help us to ensure that our educational offerings are open and accessible to every student, which is the law. We do not discriminate, but rather work to hold open all educational opportunities. In fact, part of the critical thinking skills each of you has developed through the last 4 years is to ask, which voices have been omitted? Why? How does that shape our perspective? And how can we include those voices in the dialogue? For freedom, for justice, for long-term peace, we must continue to ask those questions and do so with epistemic humility, recognizing we never know the full story, we never have the only answer, and staying in conversation is really the strongest way forward. I've seen this happen in your class again and again for 4 years, and it gives me immense hope in these challenging times. I know from talking to many of you that today, the moment of graduation is bittersweet. In some ways, you are so ready to be done with college. You've taken the key classes you wanted, you've completed a thesis, many of you. You've traveled internationally, you've fallen in love. Well, you have fallen out of love. You've written your own play, you've won championships, you've lost championships, and you've found your own voice. And at the same time, how can we let this all go? For me, at least, there is some sadness in seeing you go, and I wonder if there's something similar in you right now. Many of you know I like the poet Mary Oliver, who appears in my Sunday email a lot. She was a Pulitzer Prize winner for poetry in 1984 and had attended Vassar as a student in the mid-1950s, and she had mixed feelings about the rules of Vassar, and in fact, I'm told, spent a good amount of time in the trees. Anyhow, she writes often about connections between nature and people, among people, and connections between people and places. So I'll end my remarks with a part of her poem entitled The Return, which speaks about a thread that can bring us back to who we are. Here goes. I touched the thread and wept. Oh, it was as frail as air. And I turned then with the white spool through the cold rocks, through the long webs, and the mist fell, and the web clung, and the rocks tumbled, and the earth shook, and the thread held. I hope you'll remember there's always a thread, a connection between you, your friends at Vassar, and with Vassar itself. You have worked hard over your time to create that thread, and it is strong. Please stay connected, come back and enjoy campus, And in your difficult and in your joyous times ahead, I hope you will keep close your Vassar memories and those relationships. We are so proud of you. Enjoy the day. Thank you so much. So here to honor our retiring faculty members is our interim Dean of Faculty, Brian Daly. Brian joined the Vassar community in 2005 as a member of the Department of Physics and Astronomy. And I am so thankful to Brian for stepping up to be our interim dean as we search for a new dean. He has been fantastic. Please join me in welcoming Dean Daly.
Good morning, everybody. Commencement is a day of transition for more than just our graduating seniors. Today, we're going to recognize 8 members of Vassar's faculty who completed their long and dedicated tenure of service to the college this year. This is a moment to celebrate their accomplishments and to express our gratitude for their many contributions to the Vassar community during the decades they have spent on our campus. As an interim dean of the faculty, who never really expected to be up here addressing all of you from this front row here, I'm usually back there, it's one of the greatest honors of my career to be the one who gets to stand here and honor these 8 faculty members. So I'm going to share brief tributes to these 8 outstanding faculty members, marking their retirement transitions today, and we will let these 8 faculty stand as representatives of the many, many distinguished faculty who have touched the lives of today's graduates. To my colleagues who are in attendance today, when I read your name, I ask you to be stand and recognized, whether you're standing here behind me or out in the audience. And to the faculty, students, family, and friends in attendance, I'll ask for your applause at the conclusion of my remarks, which I hope will resonate in the hearts of the faculty we recognize today with deep gratitude. Paul Rude, Professor of Economics. Paul arrived at Vassar in 2008 and served as Professor of Economics for 17 years. He was also a member of the faculty at the University of California at Berkeley from 1981 to 2008. Paul inspired many students, including a current member of Vassar's faculty, to move on in the field of econometrics, the subfield that uses mathematics and statistics to advance our understanding of economics. Paul would even teach Vassar's most advanced students from his own econometrics textbook, An Introduction to Classical Econometric Theory, a book widely used in PhD programs. He also taught courses on climate change and economics as it relates to our environment. Paul's areas of expertise within econometrics are discrete choice models and semi-parametric estimation, work which touched on environmental economics, public finance, labor economics, and law. He's author or co-author of more than 40 research and review articles in top economics journals. Paul also lent his considerable talents to academic leadership roles. He served as an elected member of the Benefits Committee, Committee on Curricular Policies, the Faculty Policy and Conference Committee. He was department chair in economics. And Paul served on the hiring committee that brought us President Bradley in 2017. Paul, for your contributions to the field of economics, to the Vassar community, and for helping us to find Betsy Bradley and get her to come here. Thanks. Denise Whalen, Professor of Drama. Denise arrived at Vassar in 1996 and served 29 years in the drama department. Her courses drew on her expertise in the early modern period and the original staging practices of Elizabethan theater. She was also a member of Vassar's Women's Studies program. Denise is a Shakespearean scholar at the intersection of feminism and stage performance and is the author of more than 20 articles, reviews, and book chapters. Her work often focused on the disappearance from performance, sometimes for centuries, of scenes involving female characters. She is the author of the monograph, Constructions of Female Homoeroticism in Early Modern Drama. Denise has curated an exhibition for the Folger Shakespeare Library in Washington, D.C., and worked at the Globe Theatre in London. She was a member of the editorial board for Shakespeare in Performance, prompt books from the Folger Shakespeare Library, a work used by prominent Shakespearean actors of stage and film. Denise served more than once as chair of the drama department and was truly devoted to college-wide service, including 12 years as faculty secretary. She was also Dean of First-Year Students, advisor to the class of 2014. She served on the Faculty Appointments and Salary Committee, Faculty Policy Conference Committee, and many more. Denise, I thank you for many years of college leadership, benefiting both students and faculty alike, and for providing a feminist perspective on the history of Shakespeare performance. Pei-Pei Chu, Professor and Chair of Chinese and Japanese on the L.B. Dale and A. Lichtenstein Chair. Pei-Pei arrived at Vassar in 1994 and taught Japanese language, literature, and culture for 31 years. In 10 of those 31 years, she served as the chair of Chinese and Japanese. She also participated in Asian studies and women's studies, and her many courses include Women in Japanese and Chinese Literature and Masterpieces of Japanese Literature. Pei-Pei is a specialist in classical Japanese literature. Her research focuses on comparative studies of Japanese and Chinese poetry, Taoism, and women in Asian societies. A prolific author of articles, translations, and reviews on those topics, she also published in 2013 a book tackling a brutal 20th century topic entitled Comfort Women, Testimonies of Imperial Japan's Sex Slaves, which she later translated herself into Chinese. The book garnered awards and nominations, and one review praised it as indispensable for teaching modern East Asian history and politics and for rethinking organized violence. Service to the college was a hallmark of Pei-Pei's career. She served on the Faculty Appointments and Salary Committee, served as a class advisor during the height of the COVID epidemic, even overseeing a gift of personal protective equipment from Chinese families to the students employees who had to remain on campus. She also served on the committee that brought us President Bradley. Thank you, Pei-Pei, for more than 30 years of dedication to your students, colleagues, and scholarly work in Japanese literature and history. We're not doing the waiting thing, are we? Luke Harris, Professor of Political Science. Luke arrived at Vassar in 1990 and served 35 years as a faculty member in the Department of Political Science. In addition to holding a PhD, Luke holds a JD from Yale Law. Prior to Vassar, he clerked for the late A. Leon Higginbotham, Jr., the Chief Judge of the Third Circuit Court of Appeals. Students flocked to his courses in American politics, constitutional law, and issues of racial justice. In his own words, his students learned to interrogate the limits of the modern American constitutional democracy insofar as questions of social justice are concerned. Luke is a scholar of American politics, critical race theory, and constitutional law. He authored numerous critically acclaimed articles on questions of equality in contemporary America, and is a frequent speaker in major forums espousing the positive impacts of affirmative action. Luke is the co-founder of the African American Policy Forum, a nationally recognized think tank that promotes public education and activism in the Black community. Luke also took on many leadership roles within Vassar, including Director of Affirmative Action, Chair of the Political Science Department, and the Committee on Inclusion and Equity. Luke, for your tireless efforts to encourage both Vassar students and the people of our nation to reckon with issues of racial justice embedded in our laws and Constitution. Thank you. Leslie Dunn, Professor of English. Leslie arrived at Vassar in 1985 and gave 40 years of service in the English department. Her many courses include topics like Shakespeare, including adaptations, revisions, and films, early modern literature, music, culture, and women writers, and disability studies. She has long been a member of the Women, Feminist, and Queer Studies program and the Medieval Renaissance Studies program. A scholar of English Renaissance, lyric poetry, and music, Leslie's research focuses on music, gender, and representation in early modern England. An expert on Shakespeare, she led a faculty trip to study at the Globe Theatre in 2007, and she performed archival research there as well. During her time at Vassar, she published many essays and reviews and edited major volumes, including the 1995 collection, Embodied Voices, Representing Female Vocality in Western Culture. Leslie has dedicated much of her time and energy to the service of students and faculty colleagues at Vassar. She served as Vassar's Dean of First-Year Students and also class advisor to the class of 2010. She directed Vassar's Learning and Teaching Center from 2003 to 2006 and the Women's Studies program from 2012 to 2015. More recently, she served as co-chair of the Library Committee and on the Faculty Appointments and Salary Committee. Thank you, Leslie, for your extraordinary record of college service and leadership and for bringing new perspectives on Shakespeare to Vassar. William Strauss, Associate Professor of Biology. Bill Strauss arrived at Vassar in 1984 and taught in the biology department for 41 years. Among his many courses, his specialty was teaching developmental biology, which he taught nearly every year. Bill is a scholar of biochemistry and molecular biology who publishes on the topic of enzymes that allow the digestion of proteins. He has studied these processes in such diverse creatures as single-celled organisms and little skates, the latter of which he would study on research trips to Mount Desert Island Laboratory in Maine. Bill made it a priority that his research would be accessible to Vassar students, and he frequently brought his students on research trips and to national conferences. Bill was a leader and co-author of multiple institutional grants totaling more than $3 million that supported science education of Vassar students, support for Vassar students who wanted to become science teachers, and another supporting access to higher education for students from the Poughkeepsie School District. He led the biology department as chair from 2014 to 2017 during the challenging times of Vassar's massive science renovation project. He also served in academic leadership roles beyond his department, including class advisor in the Dean of Studies office, multiple terms on Vassar's faculty policy and conference committee, and a term as Vassar's faculty director of affirmative action. Thank you, Bill, for over 40 years of service and improving science education at Vassar. Andrew Bush, Professor of Hispanic Studies. Andy Bush arrived at Vassar in 1983 and served 42 years as a professor of Hispanic Studies. And he also served as a faculty member in Vassar's multidisciplinary program in Jewish Studies. His many courses include Muslims, Christians, and Jews in Medieval Iberia, a multidisciplinary course in cultural studies, and Road Trips, a literary survey about travel in the Iberian Peninsula covering the 18th century to the present. Andy's scholarly profile is broad, covering Golden Age Spain, contemporary peninsula literature, Spanish-American literature, comparative literature and literary theories, and Jewish studies. In 2002, he published a monograph entitled The Roots of Modernity, Spanish-American Poetry from the Early 18th Century to the Mid-19th Century, and in 2011, he published Jewish Studies, A Theoretical Introduction. Beyond that, he is author of more than 50 articles, book chapters, reviews, and translations. And from 1987 to 1991, he served as editor-in-chief of the journal Revista de Estudios Hispánicos. Andy was an essential contributor to the academic life of the college, serving 2 3-year terms as chair of Hispanic Studies and 2 3-year terms as director of Jewish Studies. And he also served as director of Vassar's Community Works program that coordinates the charitable giving to local causes of all Vassar's employees. Andy, for your remarkable scholarly career and your contributions to 2 of Vassar's great departments and programs, and to the college as a whole, thank you. Jan Andrews, Associate Professor of Cognitive Science. Jan Andrews came to Vassar in 1979 as a member of Vassar's psychology department and was one of the original 6 founding members of Vassar's cognitive science program. In 2014, she helped transform that multidisciplinary program into the department it is today. She served 46 years, the longest of the faculty being honored today. Jan developed the first version of the cognitive science intermediate course on language in the 1990s and has been its sole instructor ever since, revising it annually. She also taught statistics and experimental design. Jan is a scholar of the way that humans perceive, categorize, and learn things, and published 20 scientific papers in both philosophy and cognitive science journals. Many papers were published with undergraduate co-authors that she also took to national research conferences. Her current project is a meta-analysis of a half a century of work on what happens to the mind when we learn a new way to categorize something. Beyond her scholarly and teaching work, she has served the college in many roles. Jan served 6 years as director of the program in cognitive science and another 3 as chair of the Department of Cognitive Science. She served 4 years as Dean of Freshmen from 1982 to 1986, and she's also co-chaired the College Institutional Review Board for over a decade. Thank you, Jan, for your role in making Vassar a pioneer in the field of cognitive science. These 8 faculty members have completed a combined 281 years of service to Vassar College, and we will truly miss you. Thank you for sharing your passion for teaching and learning with our students, graduates, families, with our students. Graduates, families, friends, and colleagues, please join me in expressing our deep gratitude.
Thank you, Dean Daly. Fantastic. I now invite Emily Doucette, VSA President, to address the senior class. Emily, will you come up? She's coming. Emily is a cognitive science major with a psychopathology course focus and a minor in music performance. Over the course of her undergraduate career, Emily has served Vassar for VSA for 4 years, and we owe her a debt of gratitude. Emily is also an exceptional musician whose recent senior recital drew a standing ovation from the faculty and students who were there.
A little bit too short to reach the mic. Okay, being 5'2" is not easy, my friends. But hello, everyone. Welcome, family, friends, loved ones, faculty, administrators, and of course, the ever vigilant class of 2025. I promised myself I wouldn't get sentimental immediately, but staring at the sea of black robes, colorful stoles, and smiling faces, I can't help but feel incredibly proud and humbled by the best graduating class Vassar has ever seen. Not biased at all. To those of you who don't already know me, my name is Emily, and I have never been more honored to stand in front of you one last time as your VSA president. None of this feels real yet, and I hope by the time I'm through, I'll feel more comfortable accepting that time has passed and we're about to step out into this newfangled real world I keep hearing so much about. In preparation for today, I thought a lot about what note I wanted to hit with you all and how I wanted to package that message. Do I talk about how our liberal arts education has equipped us with invaluable skills that have prepared us for that big, scary world out there? Do I talk about how today is only the beginning of the rest of our lives? Maybe I hit a note about how much I've grown over the past 4 years and that there are so many people that I have to thank for that. None of those messages felt right. Too impersonal, too cliche, too focused on this so-called real world everyone has been scrambling to prepare us for. I wanted my message to be salient. I wanted it to be a celebration of all of us and the amazing accomplishments we've made. In this process, I realized something important. I'm just one person in our enormous class who has had one unique experience at Vassar. My story is not the same as yours, so how could I tap into all of your minds when you're so incredibly unique? In true VSA fashion, I leapt to my email and sent out a Google form asking students to tell me about their favorite memories this year and how they feel like this year has been different for them. I received a small handful of responses. And every single one of them was so different and highlighted an aspect of Vassar College I hadn't personally experienced. Students wrote about their love for their a cappella groups, sledding down Sunset with friends, the sense of community they had with Frisbee teams, and winning NSO Trivia Night for the first and final time. These memories, while all different, shared one common trend. They were all about connection. Not grades, not internships, not resumes and job applications, but connection to people, to places, to little moments that made Vassar feel like home. Over the past several weeks, I've delighted in these connections, and I put myself in environments where I had previously been absent from in order to observe and further share in celebrations of our vibrant Vassar community before I leave it. I attended thesis presentations, final comedy group shows, senior recitals, capstone projects, and even had my own celebrations pertaining to my accomplishments. Whether it was the final Hell Sketch comedy show, a marimba recital, or rugby bean wrestling, there was so much support and love outpouring from Vassar students. I saw students give beautiful speeches to their friends who would be graduating. I saw people pass on legacies to underclassmen. I saw people openly weep at how much love and support they received. We are all different here at Vassar, sure, but the one thing that unites us is our love for each other. This year, more than any other year I've been at Vassar, I've been able to share with people that were proud of me, but more importantly, I was able to be proud of my friends, too. My friends are awesome. They wrote amazing theses, produced phenomenal recitals, competed valiantly in sports, broke records, gave the most beautiful solos and a cappella performances, acted in some of the best plays and musicals I've ever seen, and danced inspirationally at their final shows. And to those who feel like they didn't accomplish something like a big thesis or winning an award, you've impacted Vassar just as much in my book. Your laughter in the Dees mattered. Your late night walks with a friend who needed someone mattered. The quiet ways you showed up for your roommates, your orgs, your classmates mattered. There is no metric, no resume line that can quantify the kind of community we've built here together. There is nothing that can encapsulate the people you have impacted and the core memories you have created for the people who love you and are proud of the person you have become. Vassar isn't just about achievement. It's about this care and this love. Every single one of you made this place warmer, richer, and more alive in some way, shape, or form. So even if you leave here today unsure of what you've done, remember what you've given. As we step forward, nervous, hopeful, maybe just a little bit undercaffeinated, let's take that spirit with us. We know how to ask good questions, to challenge with compassion, and to show up for one another, even in the smallest ways. So, class of 2025, wherever you go next, don't forget that the strength we found here wasn't just in our minds, it was in our hearts. We built something together. We were part of something real. And if we carry even a fraction of us to that so-called real world, I think we'll be okay. Thank you for everything. Congratulations, class of 2025. And I love you all so much.
Thank you, Emily. Fantastic. Okay, I now have the honor of asking the chair of the Vassar Board of Trustees, Sharon Davidson Chang, to come to the podium with greetings on behalf of the board. Sharon is a graduate of the class of 1984 and is also a parent of a Vassar alum, Dana, who I believe is in the audience, class of 2019. Sharon is a partner and talent agent at WME and works in the non-scripted television department and broadcast group. She is actively involved in several leadership and mentoring initiatives at WME and is a member of the National Association of Black Journalists. Please join me in welcoming Sharon Davidson Chang to the podium.
Good morning, everyone. I need to put my glasses on. And good morning, President Bradley, Speaker Tori Maldonado, distinguished members of the faculty, my fellow trustees, parents, families, and friends. And on behalf of our Board of Trustees, enormous congratulations to you, class of 2025. We are so proud of you today. So, what an absolute pleasure it has been getting to know many of you during your time here at Vassar. Even though your experience began during an incredibly challenging time, a global pandemic, every conversation, every gathering, every chance meeting that I have had with you only left me inspired. Inspired by your brilliance, inspired by your creativity, your empathy, and your heart. Honestly, as I've told most of you before, you have raised the bar so high that I'm not sure I'd even get accepted to Vassar if I applied today. Probably would not. But here's a fun fact. I was sitting where you are now at my own commencement 41 years ago, a different female board chair. Her name was Mary Draper Janney, class of 42. She was addressing my class of 1984, just as I have the honor of doing for you today, not only as a woman, but also as Vassar's first woman of color board chair. So as I thought about what kind of pithy, sage advice I could share with you this morning, I felt completely ill-equipped, struggling to figure out which hat I should wear, right? Should I wear the hat of a proud Vassar parent, or a proud Vassar alum, or Vassar board chair? Well, I decided to set all those titles aside and speak to you simply as a newly minted grandmother, or Nana, as I am called. Yes, I'd like to share a personal story about my almost 3-year-old granddaughter, Chloe, right? So when Chloe was about 14 months old, she was still mastering the art of walking. She was still wobbly, but so inquisitive, with a carefree air about her, often scurrying, giggling, humming, and bopping to Miss Rachel YouTube videos. So one weekend, Chloe visited my husband and me in our unchild-proofed condo, quickly and fearlessly scurrying around until she tripped, fell, and bumped her head. There was a sudden pause, followed by a yelp and a cry, eyes lightly tearing. So I scooped her up immediately, held her tightly, feeling both guilt and failure as her Nana, whispering all the soothing things I could whisper. But in about 10 seconds, she wiggled out of my arms and took off again, instantly back to normal, scurrying, giggling, bopping to Miss Rachel, as if the fall and bump never happened. I was stunned. I felt guilty. I had a 60-second moment of self-discovery, as I still often do these days at my age. So Chloe's fearlessness, her resilience, and her ability to move on and, quote, let it go so quickly after her fall were in stark contrast to how I was choosing to live my life. You see, over time, my trips, my falls, my bumps, my bruises often became battle scars. I discovered that, and unintentionally morphed into a more cynical, judgmental, and pessimistic view of life. Yes, I would often hold on to things, allowing the hard stuff of life to calcify. I missed the experience of wonder and curiosity and carefreeness that I witnessed in Chloe that day. So I don't know your stories, but I imagine today that your very special day, this very special day, you're feeling a blend of excitement, joy, and relief, sprinkled with a bit of anxiety. It's a tender space to be in, full of possibility, but also uncertainty, walking kind of wobbly into the unknown. But yet, here's the thing, real. Let's keep it real. Life is hard, but I encourage you to fight fiercely to keep it from calcifying you. Embrace your 14-month-old self. And like Chloe, don't miss the good stuff hidden in the hard stuff. As you transition into this next season of your life, embrace the wobbliness of your awkward steps and know that they'll become steady. And when you fall, and you will fall, we all do, you should yelp and cry, but be open to being held and comforted by your family, your friends, your faith, and our lifelong Vassar community. But then remember to build habits and make it your new normal to let it go. Squirm out of those loving arms that are holding you, get back up, but then laugh and dance to Miss Rachel. Congratulations again, class of 2025. You are the best. You did it, as Elwood said in Legally Blonde.
Thank you so much, Sharon. Okay. Next, to give greetings from the AAVC, the Alumnae and Alumni Association of Vassar Colleges, its president, Monica Vatcher. She's the class of 1977. Monica is also a trustee of the college and has worked tirelessly in a volunteer capacity for nearly 35 years. She's brought tremendous energy and innovation to AAVC, and I'm so grateful to her dedication and love of Vassar. Please join me in welcoming Monica Vatcher.
Thank you, President Bradley. This is a labor of love. Greetings to all of you, to the proud family and friends, our distinguished faculty, my wonderful colleagues on the Vassar board, and above all, greetings and congratulations to our almost newly minted alums, the extraordinary class of 2025. This is a glorious day. We're so proud of you, of your accomplishments, your values, and thrilled to share this momentous ceremony with you. Your undergraduate years have come to a close. Maybe in a blink, maybe a long 4 years, but they're ending, and now you are embarking upon life after Vassar. And all of you are separated at this moment, not by 6 degrees, but by literally only 1 degree from entering this new zone of existence. So yes, you will be leaving your classmates and your schoolmates who have thus far defined your Vassar community. But as of today, you are each an essential part of a dazzling community of over 42,000 Vassar alums, and each of you will bring added brilliance to it. We are everywhere. We are doing everything. We are biologists and artists and mathematicians and social workers and financiers and lawyers and so many other things. And we are making a difference in whatever we choose to pursue. So many of our alums are notable and recognized around the world. You know who they are. And others are notable because of what they do day in and day out without any fanfare. Whatever you choose to pursue, please know that our entire alum community is here to support you. And this community is especially important when you are venturing into the unknown, when times are unsettled, or when times are happy and you just want to share that happiness. We are here. You all will, of course, carry your own alum posse with you. Your friends from Vassar will be with you often for life. But you may also encounter the rest of us randomly in graduate school, in your workplace, during your fellowship, while traveling. Vassar's swag of any sort leads to the best random encounters. So wear your sweatshirts or t-shirts, carry your bags, or you may seek out Vassar alums, and I encourage you to do so through your local Vassar clubs, or on programs on campus, or through LinkedIn. And I hope you will join the many other alums who are career mentors, who are involved with their classes, or the multitude of other ways in which alums continue to be engaged and contribute to Vassar with time, passion, and resources. Vassar has been my special place since I first entered Main Gate. And what I have come to realize over the intervening years is that Vassar is not just a place. It's almost a state of mind. There's something about Vassar that imbues our psyches, that becomes a part of our very beings, that helps define us and connect us. Each of you, the class of 2025, is a remarkable, talented, beautiful individual. And as Emily highlighted, you each have special skills and gifts that you express in myriad ways. Every member of our alum community possesses similarly unique traits. None of us is alike. And yet, when you meet someone and learn that they went to Vassar, it's an, of course you went to Vassar moment, because they have that ineffable Vassar quality. All of you and all of us alums grew up at Vassar. We are inextricably connected. So as you depart to make your distinct and distinctive impressions upon your world, I hope you will always find time to connect with Vassar, and that you will cherish the special bond that ties us all together forevermore. Congratulations and welcome to the Alumni Association.
Thank you, Monica. Okay, it is now my distinct pleasure to welcome this year's commencement speaker, Tori Maldonado. From the class of 1996, Tori is an award-winning author, an educator whose work touches young readers in the fields of middle grade, and young adult literature. He was born and raised in Brooklyn, Red Hook's public housing. He's taught in the New York City public schools for 30 years. His acclaimed novels include Hands, What Lane, Tight, and Secret Saturdays. And his writings draw from his lived experience and his students, bringing authenticity and heart to every page. His books have earned numerous awards. What Lane was recognized by Oprah and the New York Times for showing friendship and allyship. Tight was named Best Book of the Year by NPR and the Washington Post. And after a decade, his debut, Secret Saturdays, remains popular. Beyond his novels, Tori contributes to anthologies along celebrated authors, and the world of children's literature welcomes his picture books, which will soon be published. It's such a delight to have you be our speaker, Tori. Please join me in welcoming Tori Maldonado.
Vassar family. So, can you believe that my head is so big that Vassar had to order me 2 graduation caps to wear? When I was littler, my sisters would call me Big Head. One of them is here right now. So I guess my needing 2 caps proves that I have a big head, right? Vassar family, we are here. And your family, if you helped a Vassar graduate rise. Let's first give a round of applause to President Bradley. Please clap for the Board of Trustees. If we can clap for members of the Vassar College faculty. And if you can clap extra loud for the proud parents, caregivers, and guardians and family that are here today. But now, let's clap for the rising stars that all of us orbit around in this moment. Let's clap for the graduates. So thank you to everyone who's invited me here. This is the time where so many of us feel as if we did it. And graduates, you did do it. So clap for yourselves. You did it. Now we've heard, and you probably could end the sentence, it takes a village to raise a child. Marian Wright Edelman came up with that phrase, that it takes a village to raise a child. And we've come this far with the help of those who surround us. So let's give them thanks. I want you to look around. Who in this audience, graduates, helped you rise? Who showed you love? Who had your backs? Was it your friends? Point to them right now. Give them their flowers. Was it faculty? Point to them. Give them their roses. Was it family? Where's your family? Point to the family that helped you rise. And they're pointing back at you, I see. Many of us are imagining our futures, and many of us here, we can't imagine what the future holds. Whatever your future holds, know this. You are your ancestors' wildest dreams. And in the future, you still will be your ancestors' wildest dreams. That attitude is very valuable for you to have as you graduate and move forth. I want to share a story with you. In it are some more valuable attitudes and things that are going to help you rise and keep you being your ancestors' wildest dreams. And this story will also help you rise into futures you cannot imagine. I didn't imagine that I would graduate Vassar. I didn't imagine that right there where those bleachers are, I would be married on that hill. And I never imagined that I would stand here on this side, at this podium. I want us to use our imaginations and rewind our minds to the first day of moving into dorms as a first-year student. Imagine me, first-year me, and my mom helping me move into the first floor of Raymond House. Is Raymond in the house? Without a doubt. My mom's name is Carmen Lily Negron. She's affectionately known as Miss Carmen. She's known as Miss Lily, Connie, Cupcake. Now, my mom, she had this warm energy that was this big. It went all the way out. But she was this short. She was up to my chest. I was a gentle giant. So picture tall me moving my large items into Raymond. Small her carrying tiny things. And you know how on moving day, you're doing your thing, but you're watching your neighbors do their thing too? This young woman next door to me, she thanks her two parents for the computer they just bought her. Out in the front parking lot, two parents handed keys to their son. That kept happening everywhere. Everybody seemed to get cool gifts. My mom, she couldn't afford a laptop. She couldn't afford a car. She was a single mom. Shout out to the single parents here. Single caregivers. And we also were on welfare. So we're moving in, and we're almost done. She disappears, and she reappears with this huge black garbage bag. Now, the funny thing is, the garbage bag was almost as tall as my mom. And she had something in it. So I smiled at her, and I said, "Ma, that's a gift?" And she nodded. "This is for you." So my mind goes, wow. Did she get my Brooklyn neighborhood to pitch in money to buy me a gift? Maybe they got me a computer. Ma interrupts me wondering, "You're gonna need this." Wait, so I'm starting my Vassar journey, academically and socially, and she says she has something I need. It has to be a computer, right? It has to be something that's gonna help me excel. She reaches in the bag, and she pulls out a baseball bat. Now, before I continue, I never played baseball. And I wasn't playing at Vassar. So my mom, she sees my confusion, and she tells me, "If anyone comes in through your window, hit them." Now, you're laughing, and I was laughing. But I was laughing because my mom was so short that as she's trying to motion hit them with the bat, she could barely lift the bat. Now, this is Vassar. We need a bat under our bed, right? My mom, she kept speaking in that moment, and she says, "Tori, I know what college is like. Older kids like to beat up on the freshmen. I have a question for you. In your first year, did anybody ever pull you out of your room and try to beat you up? But your parents here, your caregivers gave you a bat, right? No? Where I'm from, it's rare if a kid goes to college. I'm the first person in my family to go to college. Life magazine called my public housing one of the 10 worst neighborhoods, and they did too much. They should have said one of the 10 worst neighborhoods in Brooklyn, right? Or in New York. They said we were one of the 10 worst neighborhoods in the United States. So where we're from, what we know about college is through media. So Ma, she didn't really know what to expect from us, from Vassar students. And talk about expecting things. I did not expect my mom to hand me a bat. And here's why. Circling back, she had that warm energy. My mom, she was sort of my Star Wars Yoda. Not just because she was short. she would tell me quotes that sounded like Yoda was speaking. Now, how many of you could do the Yoda accent? I might have to get you up here. I can't really do it, but you know Yoda's do or not do? Raise your hand if you know that one. There is no try. That was my mom's good, better, best. Never let it rest until your good gets better and your better gets best. She made me memorize that as a tween. Both are very valuable attitudes for you to have as you graduate. Let's talk about Yoda again. What about wars? Not make one great. Or a Jedi uses force for knowledge, never for attack. That was my mom telling me by the age 10 that education is a weapon. Education has power. Both are valuable attitudes as you graduate. Yoda's in a dark place, a little more knowledge lights our way. That's Ma telling me Maya Angelou's quote, be a rainbow in someone else's cloud. That's another valuable attitude as we go into our futures. Yoda said, luminous beings are we, not this crude matter. That's my mom urging me to be with people who light me up. So back to my confusion. How could my gentle Yoda, my mom, hand me a bat? Wasn't this the same mom who would stop males and females in the neighborhood from fighting or arguing? This was the same mother who praised Dr. King Jr. In high school, and my sister knows this story, I wanted to get an earring. And my mom asked me, did Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. have an earring? No, so you can't get one, Tori. So it was really unlike her to give me a bat. Sometimes when people act unlike you expect, we don't know what to do. We ask ourselves, what will we do? So I want to share another Star Wars reference. How many of you know The Mandalorian? Woohoo! I like that show, because it rhymes with my last name. You see it? The Mandalorianado. This is the way. So what is the way to go when people act unlike you expect? Here's what I did. I chose to follow two other sayings from my mother. My mom taught me, listen to what a person does, not their words. Listen to how they act, not what they say. And also, actions speak louder than words. So two other valuable outlooks to use in your futures. So when Ma gave me a bat, I told my ma, thanks, I'll use it. And I listened to what she did my whole life, not what she said in that moment in that Raymond dorm. I took her bat, and that night, as she was going back to New York City, I put the bat under my bed. In my first months, the bat was completely useless. Instead of hostility, I was met with the hallmark openness and friendliness, niceness of Vassar students, and also the alumnus I've met and who I meet. Trust me, in your future, when you mention that you're a Vassar alum, it's better than if you told somebody your Hogwarts house or your zodiac sign. The Vassar name is going to open so many doors for you. So back to the bat. Weeks went by, and the bat was collecting dust under my bed. My mom visited campus, and she noticed that the bat wasn't out, and she asked about it. And I pointed, and she saw it was collecting dust. But she noticed something else during her visit at Vassar. She noticed that every single student she met, even students who didn't like me, were friendly and were nice to me. And my mom started to drop her suspicion. And she felt that here at Vassar, I was at a home away from home, that I was safe. So more time passes, and instead of using the bat, I opened my heart, and I used my open hand. And I got involved in activities that a lot of you have gotten involved in. Any activity that would help people rise. And there's a saying, you probably know it, that you can't keep a man down without staying down with him. Booker T. Washington came up with that. I learned the converse is true. If you help a person rise, you rise. And that's the theme of one of the books that I wrote, Hands. It's a global read aloud winner. And I figured that I had to teach young people the message that the power, and how many of you agree with this, the power isn't in knocking somebody down or keeping somebody out, but the power is in lifting people up. Anybody agree with that? So my mom, Miss Carmen, Miss Lily, Miss Negron, Connie, Cupcake, she had hoped that I would be around people who would light me up. And after my first few months at Vassar, and with activities that were lighting me up, that bat kept disappearing into the darkest corners of my room. During one visit, my mom asked me about the bat. She said, "Do you still have that bat?" And I told her, "It's buried somewhere in the closet." And she started laughing. She said, "Yeah, you never needed it." And we both laughed. And of course, there were fights to fight at Vassar. There were fights beyond Vassar, too. There are fights even today. When I think of those fights, I think of something mom told me, and it helped me write an article for the Vassar Spectator. She held up a pen, and she said, and you might be able to finish it, "The pen is mightier than..." You know it. You must know my mom. For 30 years, the pen, words, education have been my weapons. As both a teacher and a published author, I've been reminded that the power is not in wielding a bat or any weapon of crass destruction, but the power is in wielding weapons of mass instruction, stories, words, connectivity. And I'm lucky to be in both fields because I work in more than just human education. If you're in human education, you work with human transformation. As a poor boy, I thought the whole world was my block. I thought it was my zip code. Education changed that. I'm proof that a life can be rewritten, that education can transform. You, graduates, are proof that a Vassar education can transform. It's my point right now to point to something. Everybody, look in the back. Graduates, you're going to be receiving a weapon that you need. Everybody is going to be receiving a baseball bat. No, I'm joking. No, I do want to point to your weapon, though. Your weapon is your gift. It's whatever helped you rise to get to Vassar. Your weapon is whatever made you feel luminous at Vassar, whatever lights you up and lights other people up. It could be writing, it could be dance, it could be any career that's aligned with your interests and passions. What lights you up? Ask yourself that throughout your life. What lights you up? Who lights you up? Because that lights our world up. And as you share your gifts, you're going to make other people aware of their weapons, of their gifts. As you help others rise, it's going to help all of us rise. It'll help you rise. It'll keep you being your ancestors' wildest dreams. And it'll help step you into futures you can't imagine, like me standing here before you on this podium. At the beginning, I asked you, please point to somebody who helped you rise. In the future, be that somebody. Be someone who people point to and say, she, he, they helped me rise. This is my time to say congratulations, graduates. Now let's go forth and let's rise. You rise. She rises, they rise. Let's all rise together. Thank you.
And now we come to the main reason that we are here. The awarding of the degrees of the class of 2025. Will the class of 2025 please stand? Woo-hoo-hoo! By the authority of Vassar College vested in me by the Board of Trustees under the laws of the State of New York, and upon the recommendation of the faculty, I have the honor to confer upon each of you the first degree in arts with all its rights and responsibilities. Tradition calls that now you may change your tassels from the right to the left. Okay, class of 2025, please be seated as we continue our ceremony. All you. In witness of your achievement, I take great pleasure in awarding you the diplomas of Vassar College, and I call upon the Dean of the College, Professor Carlos Alamo Pastrana, to help with the awarding of the degrees.
Yep, okay. Thank you, President Bradley. Today, I'll be reading the names of 630 students who are participating in commencement. Just give me a second. I want you to graduate too. Given the very large size of this year's class and the number of graduates and how long it's going to take me, I urge all family members and friends to please interrupt me as much as possible, to shout and scream with as much joy and as excitement as you would like. It's been a very long journey for this class, and they are the most deserving of a proper celebration. So let's celebrate. Jacques-Pierre Abourisque. Annette Elizabeth Adams. Emma Asdale Adams. Luke Adams. Kimberly Affeld. Arnulf Agustino. Juliana Immacolata Josefa Fulcini Aguja. Rafia Ahmed. Tina Ai. Gavin Akoto. Menaz Alam. Ella Rose Albrecht. Helen Ambrose. Andrew Amirsakis. Eve Sarah Edelstein Anderson. Holden Anderson. Lily Annika Anderson. Samuel Andrews. Lily Anninger. Francis Margaret Anthony Brumfield. Alicia Ann Arden. Molly Ardren. Maya Armas. Zefan Arruede. Harrison Ash. Ava Allenbacher and friend. D.B. Austin. Andy Authors. Saleh El Nur Saleh Awuda. Sean Babitsky. Mariam Backus. Teresa Mary Baggio. Victoria Baker. Louisa Holmes Baldwin. Sophia Angeline Balich. James Paul Ballin. Evan Banning. Alexa Barcenas Mead. Olivia Rose Barnes. Luke Barrientos. Victoria Elegre Barrios Cabral. Maya Beaudry. Hannah Feinstein. Madeline Violet Belumgian. Claire Elizabeth Bennett. Eamon Benslama McKinley. Devin Benson. Claire Berezovsky. Maxwell Bergman. Elwin Bernard. Jackson Burnreiter. Daniel Barry. Jackson Best. Nia Marie Bethel Brescia. Abigail Betancourt. Noah Biolsi. Anna Bishop. Sophia Blankenship. Jack Armitage Blau. Catherine Bodner. Jude Borromeo. Ariana Boswell. Madison Bojes. Hadley Boyle. Eve Elizabeth Braverman. Kathleen Teresa Brawley. Maxwell Brenneman. Ann Campbell Brewer. Jackson Brogan. Kate Covington Brown. Timothy Julian Buckin. Melanie Burgess. Aisha C. Brandon David Corrido. Alexandra Carr. Lillian Clarice Carrillo. Kristen Carroll. Lovey Yareni Castañón Tapia. Alejandro Castro. Henry Chickeny. Alan Sedeno. Sen Duo. Jacob Cerrone. Kieran Chion. Keep going. Andrew Chang. Kai Junsu Chang. Kathleen Chang. Olivia Barry Chang. Daniela Chavez Rosales. Zan Chima. Damon Chen. Sid Ju Chen. Bill Cheng. Giacomo Serge Cherry. Riley Chin. Sophia Noshin Chaudhry. Deanna Lauren Chun. Jay Chung. Evgenia Chishikova. Jason Cerrito. Tobias Clark. Emmanuel Clement Seeley. Sarais Cobo Sanchez. Julia Colon. Justin Beislein Cook. Samara Katrina Corbin. Jacqueline Corsilia. Wendy Elizabeth Cortez. Trevor Cox. Julia Isabel Armstrong Crawford. Pablo Crisostomo Suarez. Sarah Emily Culhane. Autumn Cullinan. Theo Culverhouse. Alexander Antoni Charkovsky. Catherine Lorraine Cizak. Hannah Talia Dagan. Taru Wangmo D'Amico. Charlie Miami Dang. Naya Dang. Anshuman Das. Snehakita Das. Lance Davis. Tremaine Dawson. Mariano Landon Lima de Carvalho. Zara Columbia Dershowitz. Marissa Sanaya Desir. Owen DeVore. Anna Grace Diamond. Abigail Francesca Valen DiNardo. Ding Tianxin. Sebastian DePiro. Willem Doherty. Colin Michael Donnelly. Emily Ann Doucette. Macy Dowd. Thomas Christopher Doyle. Olivia Drapo. Lena Danielle Dreskin. Emma Dreiker. Aiden Duffy. Elise Dooley. Caleb Dunn. Kayla James Dunn. Lieve Dussert. Mateo Dwyer. Amber Eddy. Hayden Ehrenfeld. Audrey Earhart. Lily Eichler. Izzy Einstein. Manal El Ashwari. Chloe Elbogen. Alma Davin Elias Nahera. Noon Moisetin El Mustafa. Amel Mahmoud El Sadiq. Diego Esponda. Ulirowan Eshwamurthy. Jacqueline Margaret Evangelista. Nicole Ezel. Kelly Scott Fagel. Tajabiha Binte Faisal. Lily Falkowski. Madam Umben Fall. William Fan. Ibrahim Farhan. Sophie Farr. Tess Feldman. Elizabeth Feldstein Nixon. Antonio Ferrailo Galvao Costa. Sean Fisher. Nina Cecile Fishman. Curtis Lewis Fleece. Maritza Jasmine Flores. Etta Fontenot. Alexandra Grace Foote. Emily Rose Foote. Tracy Francis. Jeremy Frank. Lydia Maeve Friedman. Molly Jean Freer. Shira Freilich. Abigail Rose Friedman. Charlie Fromm. Julian Finaro. Claude Joseph Duran Gagnon. Anjali Claire Galat. Madeline Gallion. Vasilis Ganasoulias. Puhan Gao. Louisa May Gear. Devin Edward Gertie. Jacob William Geiger. Tova Galb. Lawrence Jem. Jack Gibbard. Eliza Laness Gilbert. John Cody Gilbert. Zoe Elizabeth Giles. Benjamin Robert Glazebenik. Flynn Alex Gold. Danielle Jean Golden. Zahara Goldkin. Samuel Goldstein. Michelle Gonzalez Savignon. Dishti Prem Gopalani. Benjamin Franklin Goff. Matthew Graham. Aaron Greenberg. Leah Marie Greenberg. Finley Green. Rowan Greer. Eloise Lorenz Grossman. Elena Fuye Grisbowski. Sarah Wells Gunther. Alexandra Guillen. Lucy Jones Gundel. Alexa Gwynn. Alan Stephen Hale. Julia K.P. Hale. Andrew Halesworth. Let me get my water for this one. Come on. All right. Amaris Sam Maulihiva Hiva Omoana Hall. Jackson Hall. Misha Hall. Charlotte Elizabeth Bell Hampton. Minkyo Han. Kaylin Ryan Harrington. Miles Harris. Julia Rose Harvey. Jared Haslinger. Manoshi Hassan. Haley Nicole Hayes. Riley Makana Andrews Hine. Sophia Kielbasa Heinzen. Reese Hyped. Paley Heitzman. Kai Hellman. Sophia Henderson. Birch Anderson Marley Herring Jackson. Michael Jose Isiano Brito. Leo Hickey. Liam James Hilton. Naomi Hirsch. Ian Ho. Kirsten Herman. Shijun Hong. Ray Michael Jastrzemski Hovis. Jade Sin. Alicia Su. Rosalie Marissa Shu. An Huang. Pooja Haded. Cora Claire Hume-Fagan. Sumera Noor Huck. Samuel Hurwitz. Nora Yangbi Idler. Braden Ingram. Evan Mitchell James. Camille Martin Januzzi. Tyson Jemison. Emmy Lynn Jensen. So Young Jung. Elise Marie Johnson. Janae Kayla Johnson. Jackson Emil Jones. Mariah C. Jones. Anna Grace Cagle. Olivia Joy Calais. Kayla Manya Kalman. Dimple Kangriwala. Finn Kaplan Moore. Aiden Carnell. Isabel Kane Kaufman Seitz. Jasmine Kaur. Javier Kazmerzak. Duncan Kecker. Mo Ifa Kelly. Amelia Cardinali Kemp. Elizabeth Ann Kendrick. Wyatt Kern. Patrick Kerrigan. Henrik Kessel. Andrew Keel. Ryan Kilpati. Faith Hannah Kim. Ji Ho Kim. Teresa Neela Kim. Tori Kim. Elliot Cloninger Stever. Will Knaus. Jesse Dylan Coblin. Carissa Colson. Johanna Koppelman. Eleanor Louise Copps Kuvek Bradley. Isabel Corman. Cassandra Koyamatsu. Anna Kozlowski. Gwendolyn Kuhn. Hunter Kui. Risha Kulkarni. Ila Ali Kumar. Dan Kuruwila. Daniel Lederman. Emma Elizabeth Larson. Julia Marie Lawless. Emma Sinclair Lawrence. Justin Lederer. Karis G. He Lee. Urim Lee. Arlo Leonard. Elizabeth Leonard. Benjamin Joseph Levine. Hannah Joy Levine. Simon Lewis. Dongkai Lee. Iris Raisa Lee. Yichen Lee. Jinming Liang. Lila Rachel Lichtman. Madison Elaine Leashing. Nandini Reddy Licky. Levi Howard Lilienthal. Jillian Lynn. Simone Anotonia Lincoln. Robin Taylor Lindsay. Beryl Liu. Riley Catherine Lippman. Brandon Liu. Amelia Liu. Lu Ife. Patrick Joseph Luby. Kyle Sean Lachlan. Christopher Payne Lounsbury. Jiao Dong Lu. Evelyn Lucero Herrera. Jacqueline Loy. Victor Manuel Lun Pun. Han Lao. Maya Luongo. Sophia Lynch. Mabore Mab. Sophia Aliyah Ma. Connor Machado. Brianna Leah McMullen. Jose Luis Magaña Navarro. Malachi McGreggy. Azan Jamad Malik. Naveen Singh Malik. Azure Mally Porter. Harry Cash Malone. Valeria Malihina. Lavinia Makanikam. Brianna Marical. Bradley Markind. Oscar Martinez Montoya Valtierres Dimas. John David Matter. Crystal Renee Matthews. Cleo Reina Maya Johnson. Talia Margarita Mayo. Pearl McIninch. Kieran McBurn. Bella Rose McCrae. Owen McGarry. Kira Sullivan McIntyre. Sophia McKenzie. Sarah McNeil. Mikhail Medina. Lynn Mendez. Sophia Mendez and friend. Sarah Bernadette Menz. Juan Mercado. Kayla Gabriela Mercedes Ferreira. Anna Sophia Meyer. Rebecca Cecilia Midland. Sadiksha Anuj Miglani. Mark Milano. Jaden Miller. Morgan Miller. Reese Miller. Elena Miralles. Maxwell Mitchell. Sophie Petofsky Mode. McKenna Ruth Monahan. Sebastián Montañez Nerey. Genevieve Mook. Addison Moore. Leon Moore. Sara Morejon. Benjamin Spencer Morgan. Danielle Ken Ichiro Mori. Ashley Summer Mostrom. Favor Movell. Riley Morgan Mulcahy. Niam Ann Mulligan. Ishika Rajni Mupidi. Alexandra Murphy. Aaron Muchek. Aaliyah Faye Myers. Pauline Nadis. Joytsna Naidu. Noel Namba. Fatima Stel Ndai. Harris Sue Neal. Claire Nasatharai. Maxwell Coates Norman. Alexander Robert Novak. Cesar Núñez Robles. Madeline May Ochner. Shane O'Hara. Liam Oley. Evelyn Sofia Olivares. Lauren Otbrook. Anne Patricia O'Reilly. Justin Ortega Brito. Dylan Outerkirk. Clarissa Ibeth Padilla. Nalani Palmer. Luxani Pan. Pranav Parekh. Leslie Alondra Partida de Paz. Tamar Passerman. Avery Jane Patterson. Anona Paddington. Vervain Pearson. Lila Odile Mellon Pepples. Audrey Perone. Tara Leon Peterson. Ella Phillips. Eden Pike. Julia Wise Pippinger. Lanier Von Poland. Dory Joe Polish. Julia Amina Poles. Alexandra Polar Gold. Willa Louise Potter. Ezra Walter Earhart Potts. Nara Pucci. Kyla Stephanie Putterman. Drew Quinn. Maham Rahman. Shreya Rajkumar. Tiana Ramlakan. Kalina Ventislav Rashkov. Emily Ann Rast. Adrian Rasul. Fernando Jose Rax Lopez. Nicholas Redstone. Audra May Regan. J.D. Rygrid. Sarah Reisman. Sarah Farrell Reese. Benjamin Remy. Ricardo Mateo Reina. Arnez Onupa Riza. Isabel Ree. Abigail Catherine Rice. Henry Richard. Ben Richardson. Callista Elizabeth Ringler. Adelina Raquel Rivera. Charlotte Robertson. Charlie Rodhouse. Isabel Rodriguez. Kevin Kennedy Ragoza. Mateo Roman. Talia Alejandra Roman. Thomas James Rombach. David Tobias Roos. Leo Rothstein. Willa Rudell. Noah Rudnett. Noe Rose Rischermeyer Bailey. Jack Rufa. Sarah Natasha Ruiz. Sophia Nicole Ryder. Anzan Sechtiva. Rodro Saha. Anissa Salau. Manuela Maria Salguero. Olivia Lynn Salva. Ruby Sanchez Lopez. Derek Sando. Madeline Sandy. Emma Santiago. Jaden Bonner Shapiro. Amanda Rose Barrios Chef. Ivy Sutton Schenk. Garrett Schmid. Foster Finch Schrader. Benjamin Schrenzel. Sarah Schuster. Danielle Alexa Schwartz. Rebecca Schwartz. Ariel Schwartzman Miles. Ava Hallett Sclafani. Theodore Scribner. Celine Seaman. Sophia Anna Cederman. Brenna Laurel Harp Seligman. Jay Young Saw. Gabrielle Margaret Ephraim Sequera. Dariana Sofia Serrano Fraticelli. Michelle Maria Schaefer. Yining Shang. Leela Shaver. Bianca Sahela Shaya. Eleanor Sheik. Ji Kai Shen. Nathan Shi. Ryan Shikati. Mira Lakshmi Shroff. Sage Shoemate. Samuel Shurin. Michelangelo Marie Silva. Nico Silverman Lloyd. Gerald Simons. Devansh Singh. Maxwell Sivers Boyce. Tilden Olivia Scoble. Jasper Altman Smith. Madeline Victoria Chang Smith. Hallie Snell. Jaden Shanbeza Sobehana. Elizabeth So. Lindsay Solo. Sriram Soundarapandian. Kai Spears. Rebecca Spence. Alexandra Spitzer. Catherine Startsev. Andrew Steindl. Molly Julia Amgott Stern. Hey. Faye Winter Stevens. Oliver Stewart. Emily Bell Stoff. Jack Story. Isabel Stowe. Abigail Charlotte Strauss. Sydney Straw. Anusha Sabathi. Betsy Jennifer Subiros. Zola Sullivan. Dana Marjorie Tagliaferro. Ella Taylor Talarico. Nicole Tampanaru. Philip Tamulonis. Samuel Austin Tang. Lily Tarrant. Augustus Tarver. Zach Taylor. Alexander Tebow. Anna Rosalie Terry. Ni Tai. Natasha Thompson. Emma Knight Tiedemann. Nicholas Tillingast. Emma Genevieve Torkelson. Julian Alexander Torres. Mariam Toure. Brianna Tran. Braden Cole Traugat. Ha Mi Chio. Riley Jean Trowbridge. Matthew Trueblood. Tyler Sakuda. Sarah Tung. Madeline Turner. John Tuttle. Dimitrios Jepos. Jordan Vandermeulen. Maddie Vandiver. Arili Ivy Velasco. Natalia Vélez Rios. Edgar Ventura Martinez. Giovanni Verdi. Nicolás Hurtado Villamil. Benjamin Vincent. Julia Ann Vitali. Frederica Angelina von Siemens. Fanta Miriam Wage. Ibrahim Wahid. Brooklyn Elspeth Walsh. Jamison Haven Walsh. Alex Walters. Ella Sophia Wanebo. Crystal Wang. Ishuan Wang. Yuhui Wang. Lillian Elizabeth Watson. Renee Marie Watson. Carl Anthony Webster. Judah Malcolm Weeks. Rebecca Louise Weinstein. Hannah Weintraub. Eli Wise. Ellie Wenger. Kira Omara Wheeler. Posey Stone Whitten. Danny White. Sophia Wigington. London Wilkes. Rachel Marie Wilkes. Kylie Williams. Abigail Jean Wilson. Annie Wilfew. Lev Winnikoff. G.A. Wodar. Jill Susan Wong. Laura Meiying Wong. Gunnar Cassidy Wood. Lydia Wright. Catherine Teresa Lujen Wu. Stephen Wu. Xiao Mei Summer Wu. Adeline Shea. Tianyu Shang. Christine Shu. Alexa Yang. Peter Yin. Margaret Ann Young. Isabel Yu. Shinlin Yu. Soleil Young. Yael Zarini. Ja Yung Jung. Victor Zhang. Yifei Zhang. Ji J Zhang. Franklin Zhu. Sasha Zweig. And you all have already started, but now I want to invite us all to express our joy and congratulations to the full class of 2025 and invite President Bradley to the podium to close the ceremony. Thank you so much.
Here is my charge to the class of 2025. You now take your place among those privileged to call themselves graduates of Vassar College. Be mindful of this privilege. It comes with the expectation that you will use your education responsibly in your own lives and for the benefits of others. Take this expectation seriously and think of it often. It is the basis of a society that aspires to extend justice and opportunity to all. We wish you well. And may you go forth in confidence, knowing you are well equipped for the journey. Does everyone want to do a cap toss? 1, 2, 3. See you at the reception.